Hello everybody, so this is Miss Suguna here. So today what we are going to do is we are going to go through the solution for the practical mock test number 1 that I gave you some time ago. So for this practical mock test number 1, the concept that is tested is from sales and billing exercises, and it is quite a fairly straightforward mock test. So today what we are going to do is I'm going to run through the steps quite quickly, and after watching this video, if you have any questions or clarifications that you want to make, you can feel free to email me or ask me during the next video lesson. Alright, so let's jump straight into Deskara. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sign in with my student ID. Okay, so the very first instruction in our mock test scenario is to update the terms of our unique customer ID. So according to this scenario, you have received an enquiry from customer X and your manager has given you his approval to prepare the quotation and order for the following. So order here actually means the sales order or purchase order. So you just have to read through the instructions and then follow through accordingly. So in this scenario, it will be the sales order. And there are 5 items for you to take into consideration. Trade discount of 20% for purchases above $1,000, and this amount must be before GST. Cash discount 10% 30 days. Prices are subject to 7% GST, and delivery will be completed within 5 days from the date of order. And all documents are supposed to be sent to the following billing address, and the billing address is the same as the shipping address, which is Edward Building, Shenton Way Street, 21, Block 20B, 4220 Singapore 345789. Alright, so let's jump straight into the very first instruction, and that instruction says update the terms of your unique customer ID. In order to do this, you're supposed to look at the cash discount and the validity of the cash discount. In this scenario, it is stated as cash discount 10% 30 days. So I should update my credit terms accordingly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to Masters, click on Customers/Vendors and select Customers. This is a sales and billing exercise, so pick Customers. And then I'm going to select my unique customer ID, click on Manage Customers and then select Edit Customer. So once I'm here, just make sure that the customer ID is correct and then navigate to Credit Terms. And right now it's showing me net 15, but I should be updating it to net 30. That's right. And it should be net 30 because the cash discount of 10% is only valid for 30 days. So once I do that, I'm going to click on Save. And that's it. You have updated your credit terms for your unique customer. So once I do this, I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping. So I'm going to close the tabs that are not important. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. And the next instruction says, prepare a customer quotation based on the details as given above. Customer quotation number should be labeled in the following format: CQM1-XXXV1. So in order to do this, if you remember the steps very clearly, okay, we have to navigate to Accounts Receivable Sales, Entry, and then pick Proforma Invoice/Quotation. And once we are here, we will see all the quotations that we have done before in previous exercises, but we're not going to look at them today. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new quotation. And once here, we're going to select our unique customer according to the customer ID that you have. Okay, there is nothing to link because this is the very first quotation and the very first form that you're creating. And after this, we are going to select sequence format as NA. At this stage, do remember to check that you've picked the correct customer, and to make sure that you've picked the correct customer, you should look at the credit term and ensure that it is correctly reflected. So this is correct. So now I'm going to enter my quotation number. So it will be CQM1 and for me it will be 950V1. And after I've done this, the next step, do you all remember the next step? It is to write down the payment and delivery terms. So that's what I'm going to do now. Please make sure that there are no spelling mistakes or mistakes in the details. Like instead of 20% you put in 2%. That is wrong. Okay. And instead of 1000 maybe you keyed in 100. So that is also wrong. So be very careful when you key in the details. It is always good to check the details as and when you go. It's like cooking. So you check the taste of the dish as and when you include new ingredients, right? So as to make sure that the dish is properly cooked and it's not bland. So same thing. When you're doing Descara exercises, just make sure that whatever you are keying in is correct as and when you can. Alright? Okay, that's it. So I've included my memo, and what I need to do now is to key in or enter my products. So I'm going to do that by doing a very quick search for the products using the category number, and I'm going to do a very quick concurrent search and then just select the checkbox to select the item to be included in the list. Okay. And then the last one. So this is a very quick way to do, which I discovered while I was doing some of the exercises. So once the item list is generated, okay, just make sure that you have selected the correct ones. Okay, just do a quick check. Okay, that's right. Okay, now we key in the quantity. And after you have keyed in the quantity, you can now check the value of this whole sales. And the value shown before tax is $2,962.25. And because this value is above $1,000, I can apply my trade discount. And to do this, I'm going to click on global discount, select yes, and then key in 20 for 20%. And please make sure that you do this step only after generating the product list and filling in the quantity. If not, there will be some changes and inaccuracies in the final calculation. So once I apply my discount, you can see that the numbers have changed a bit. Now the next step is that we have to apply the total tax. So what I'm going to do for total tax, which is actually our GST, I'm going to select yes, and then I'm going to pick GST SR 7%. I'm sorry that I missed this out in the given exercise, so you can assume that you should select GST SR 7% based on previous exercises. So once you apply this, and then you would notice that some of the values have changed. Okay, that is fine. And then the final step is to include the address. So what we are going to do is we are going to navigate to show address, okay, and then we are going to key in the given address correctly. So once again, make sure that you are keying in correctly and not making any careless mistakes, because even the smallest careless mistake can cost you marks for this section. And because the billing and the sales address is the same according to the question, I'm going to pick the checkbox so that I can generate it concurrently. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And after I have done this, I'm just going to do a quick check. Everything is okay. And then I save. And then I'm going to print it out to save a record for myself. Okay, when I'm doing my document saving, I should label it correctly. So I'm just going to key in my register number, okay, and that's it. Okay, maybe that's a very long register number. So let's say I assume I'm student number 1. Alright, so that's it. I'm done with my customer quotation. So the very next step should be to do some housekeeping. So close the tabs that you don't need. So now we are moving on to the third instruction, which is to create the sales order. So once again, I go to accounts receivable sales and then I click on sales order. And to generate the new sales order, I'm going to click on create new. And then I'm going to select the correct customer. Check that the credit term is correct. Yes. And this time round, I'm going to link to my customer quotation. Okay. And then I'm going to select the right quotation number. To make sure that this is correct, just look at the memo. It should reflect what you had keyed in the customer quotation. So once this is done, sequence format should be NA. And then now you can key in your sales order number. Follow the format given exactly in the exercise, okay? Do not make any careless mistakes. And once this is done, okay, just give a quick check. Everything is okay. Check your address is good and price is correct. And since it's above 1,000, just apply a global discount. Alright, so once you apply the global discount, you will see some changes. And once this is done, click on save. Okay, and then print record to save a copy of your answer. And that's it for sales order. Alright, so do some housekeeping, close the tabs that are not necessary. And now we move on to the more tricky part. Okay, because instruction number 4 says that when you were preparing the items for delivery, you realized that the magnetic whiteboard eraser was out of stock. So what should you do when you are generating the customer invoice? Let's see. So to generate the customer invoice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sales invoice and then create new. So it should be credit sales. And after that, I'm going to select my customer. Check that the credit term is correct, and this time round I'm going to do the linking as well. I'm going to link to the sales order, and the sales order number should be exactly what you keyed in just now. So be very careful when you're selecting the sales order number. Okay, to make sure that you have selected the correct sales order number, you should check the memo and make sure that it's consistent with the instructions given in the paper. Okay, sequence format should be NA so that you can key in your own format. And then I'm going to just key in, label my invoice according to what they have given me. And after this, make sure that the salesperson is indicated correctly, student 950. And at this stage, you need to remove the item that is not available. So the item that is not available is the magnetic whiteboard eraser. So that's number 2, and I'm going to delete it. So once that's deleted, check the value, and yes, it is more than 1,000. So I'm going to apply my global discount of 20%. So once I do that, there's some changes in the value. And after this is done, okay, click on generate delivery order, select no for sequence format, and key in the DO number accordingly as well. This is an important step which many students might miss out. Okay, so when you generate the customer invoice, that is when you also generate the DO. Okay, so check that the address is correct once again. Okay, once it's correct, save. And after you have said print records, okay, do remember that when you do the print records at this stage, okay, you will be printing the invoice. I will show you how to print the delivery order. Okay, this is done. Now we close. To print out the delivery order, go to accounts receivable sales and click on sales DO. You would definitely see the DO that you have generated in the previous step. Okay, and once you see, just print record to save this DO. And that's it. With that, you have completed your mock test number 1. So I hope everybody managed to capture the steps and got the answers correct. So with this, I end my tutorial, and in the next tutorial, we will look at the solution for purchase management mock test 1. Alright, thank you guys for staying tuned and going through the steps with me. If there are any questions, please feel free to email Miss Ashikin or myself, and we will try to respond to our level best. Okay, stay safe and stay positive. Bye guys.